there's a very large myth about vitamin D, and most importantly, that it's only absorbed in the morning.
One little biohack is that when your shadow is less than half your height, that's when the day is going in.
World looks at cholesterol in a negative way.
Sense in this that in our body, this is good cholesterol and this is bad cholesterol. What is this nonsense? Why are they calling LDL cholesterol? LDL is not a cholesterol. HDL is not a cholesterol. HDL and LDL are taxis which are carrying a passenger called cholesterol. Good morning. दूध सिर्फ गाय से नहीं आता, दूध हर चीज प्लांट से भी आता है. Oh, my child is too much and is eating popcorn. You stupid people, you're giving popcorn to a 2-year-old child. That means शुरू से ही काम खराब कर दिया उनका.
Welcome to Pragya again. We're going to talk about good health. We're going to talk about tricks how to manage cholesterol, diabetes, and longevity. It's good for you, your children, and people who live a very busy digital life. We have Dr. Alok with us today, Alok Chopra from New Delhi, who is going to share all this information with us. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you.
Dr. Alok, I'm going to ask you some myths, which have driven a lot of illnesses in the society today.
That's true.
Is milk good for us?
It used to be, not anymore.
Why, doctor?
Because it's converted from what it should have been A2 grass-fed milk.
Okay.
Now it's having A1 grain-fed.
Okay.
So that's not good for our health.
And what about I believe there are a lot of antibiotics that the animals get fed?
Yes, that's the other reason, that the antibiotics and all the nonsense that they eat is also translated into the milk.
And doctor, I want to know if sugar is the only cause for diabetes?
Not the only cause, but anything sugary. It's not just sugar.
Right.
Glycemic foods, that it doesn't contain only sugar, but all fruits even. A lot of people are eating fruits. Now, fruits are good for health.
Right.
But when you eat fruit on an empty stomach, then it is straightaway absorbed into the liver.
Fruits in the morning is not recommended. Fruit after the meal is recommended.
Yes, because that's what our fathers and grandfathers taught us to be, if you remember.
Yeah. Yes, of course. My mom used to always say, a fruit khalo, have some fruit after the meal. Yes. Okay.
They knew, they had that gyan.
Excellent, excellent. So thank you, doctor. I want to ask you, is wheat good for us?
Not at all.
Wheat is not good?
Not good at all, because today's wheat is not with the wheat that was originally.
Right.
So wheat is not in my contention at all.
And what about white bread?
White bread is worse than wheat.
Oh my God, but so many things have
that's
that
it.
flour.
Why do you think everybody is so ill?
So one of the reasons for illnesses is diabetes,
white bread,
white rice,
but there are ways
milk.
of converting the white rice if you're interested.
Okay, so we're going to come back to you on that one. But for now, I want to know that
the answer is no, yes.
White rice is not good for us. So please be aware what you're doing to yourself, because your health is just not yours. It's your family member. You don't suffer alone. Everybody suffers with you in your family.
However, you see, there are so many rice eaters in the world. So
right.
I do need to tell people that how can we soften the problems of rice.
Okay. So
that
should we ask that question?
Yeah.
Okay, doctor, but there's so many places in this world where rice is a staple diet.
Exactly, that's what I want to tell you.
So what should my viewers then do? Because
you see, I see that most of the people from Kashmir, southern India, and all the rice eaters are more the people who have diabetes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but because they've started it from the beginning, their responses are not as bad. So normally what happens is that rice is a problem, and how to solve this problem. So the way we do it is that we put the rice in the water, add some coconut oil in it, and then once it is made, we throw the water off, wash the coconut oil with ice cold water so that the soluble starch washes off. Mm-hmm. So you've done one big job. Then this is what the Japs do. Then they take the rice and they put it in the fridge for 10 hours. So the insoluble starch becomes resistant starch, which is the preferred food of our gut bacteria. So that way we have softened the problem of the rice.
It's amazing you bring this up, because we often look at Japanese people and say...
That's why they're never fat.
Yeah, they're never fat. And
because of this.
Amazing. So guys, it's a great tip to be slim And, to be fit in case you love rice, then doctor here has just explained us how to have that. And it's all not bad for us. It's how you have it and how you cook it.
That's it.
Amazing.
You got it.
Doctor, tell me, what is the circadian clock? How does it impact what we eat?
You see, the circadian clock is you can't change it.
Right.
There's a body clock.
So does it change to country or
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Okay. But in general, because if I go to every country, then we'll never finish. So,
right.
So the body clock wakes us around 5 o'clock.
Okay.
5:15. It demands you to get up like that. No dilly-dallying in bed. Come down and look at the sun, which is not there. Look at the blue light, which you can't see. It's invisible, but you have the blue haze.
Right.
Right? The blue haze then converts into the yellow sun. And the moment, because the blue haze is actually converting your night chemicals, your night mechanisms into the morning ones. It's a very crucial change. You missed the first pass. Then the sun comes up. The moment the sun comes up, you open up your chest, not your clothes, but your chest. I mean, allow the sun to enter you. Give it best. Open that up, and the sun enters. Soon after that, I also say that because you are sitting with the sun, use this time for prayer and pranayam at the same time, because you are then taking your day with a calm mind. Immediately after that, you demand a aerobic activity. So wake up, blue light, yellow light, prayer, pranayam, aerobic activity.
I think the doctor has excellently just summarized for us. Doctor, isn't that what people used to do back in the days?
Absolutely.
It was. And
that's what I'm saying. Honor our ancestral past.
Honor our ancestral past.
The mantra is honor your ancestral past and live by your body clock.
Is it got to do anything to do with the fact that we're 20 generations of our father's side, 20 generations of our mother's side? So we carry it in our genetic pools, and that's what's good for us?
Yes, up to a point.
But
I haven't finished with the body clock.
Okay.
So therefore, after that, around 5 hours after waking, it should be your first meal, around 10:30.
10:30. So, and what was the last time of your meal?
7:30.
So we're looking at 14 hours.
Something like that.
Yeah, 14 hours of intermittent.
But bigger. Let's not use that word. It's a fad word. I don't like to use it.
Okay.
So it's really a fad word because nobody honors it. So therefore, you have the first meal should be your biggest meal, around 60%, because that's what the ancestors did, because they were hungry in the morning. So that means the first, and we do the ulta, right? And then around noon, or is from that time 11 till about 12 o'clock or noon is the time where you put your work behind, rush into your work. 2:30 to about 3:15 is your nap time.
Okay.
And this nap time is a theta rhythm sleep, which actually gives you a perfect sleep and wake up with tension, with good. And with it, if you can put some binaural beats, it will enhance the theta rhythm sleep.
Wow.
And when you wake up, you're fresh.
You're rejuvenated.
Totally rejuvenated. Certain problems which you've been juggling with are opened up. Everything comes up, and again use that time for doing important good work. 5:36 is the best time for strength training. This is the body clock saying.
Oh wow!
And then around 7:30 is your meal time, and you need about 2.5 hours to let the food get okay. Then around 9:30, 10 get ready to bed. 10:30 go to sleep. Wake up at 5.
Wonderful. So today you have what is actually medically
living
proven.
By the body clock.
Yes, living by the body clock, and which is actually good for you. So it's not just good for me. It's not just good for doctor. It's actually good for you. It's good for your children. It's good for people who are going and to work, and they have these corporate jobs, and yet they have to take care of their bodies and take care of their health. So this is a great way to actually monitor what you're doing. So even if you can't do a nap, but your body needs a little rest, maybe just do some pranayam that time, maybe do some breath work, at least relax at that time. But your food, your intake of your food, this is the pattern that you have to eat, because your body is not different than anybody else's. So respect your ancestors and create a rhythm, body clock, which is as per the sun and the way the day and night and the body functions. Doctor, I'm going to ask you, what has supermarkets and processed food done for us?
Nothing.
Nothing. So please know that processed food and supermarkets may have got us convenience, but a very short-lived convenience, because at the end of the day, that what it's done to us is very critical, because diabetes, heart issues, mental health issues, cancer has
Thyroid.
gone through the roof. And one of the reasons is processed food. Doctor, would you like to tell me a few words on processed food? How does it impact
See,
us?
processed foods, first of all, we don't even know what's going inside them.
Right.
And there's so much of junk inside and so much of mixtures of things that I don't even want to think about it anymore. I mean, there was a time when we didn't know what is what. But today, because we know, we are now very cognizant about what should we be eating. Sit down, work out where is it coming from. Are you sure that the soil, the way it is done, was right? Is it contained, even the fruit may be, tainted with certain things. Sometimes they put some material in the soil.
Right.
So the soil material comes into the fruit, and the fruit suddenly, I see a guava this big. Obviously, it's not the right thing.
Right.
And then, so look at a place like London, for example. There are every fruit in the world, but they grow only a strawberry, which means every other fruit is coming from some distant country, and by the time it reaches there, it's already screwed up.
I don't think it's a problem in just London. I think whether it's the Middle
Yeah.
East, whether it's Europe, whether it's America, whether it's India for
Yeah,
that
anywhere,
matter,
anywhere,
we
yeah.
have fruits from all seasons, all countries. Having said that, it is highly recommended that you only eat fruit which is seasonal, because that is grown in that particular area, has not traveled for too long, and is not sitting in the supermarket forever. So highly recommend you to have seasonal fruit and seasonal vegetables. Doctor, please tell me, when you break the fast, should you be breaking with pancakes, paranthas, cereals? What is this Western way of life that today all of us aspire to live?
No, the question is that we stood, in fact, I have seen that when we start our first meal with the fiber,
Right.
which they normally do. What I do is normally I wake up. When our first meal is to have a bullet coffee.
Right.
Yeah, everybody knows now what a bullet coffee is. Immediately after that, I have a soup, and my first meal is a fiber, because when you eat fiber first, protein second, carbs last, that way the spike of the glucose spikes is reduced by about 20%, because the fiber lines your intestine and prevents anything wrong to get inside. So it puts a layer in your gut.
Okay.
So nobody starts their meal with a fiber. But I really want to make this point that your first part of your meal should be a green
So
fiber.
pancake is
Any green
definitely
fiber.
not fiber.
Not at all.
And definitely cereals are not
Pancake,
fiber.
Yes.
Paranthas,
Paranthas eaten the right way.
if eaten in the right way, not
Yeah.
wheat paranthas.
You see, I don't eat wheat, I don't eat barley, I don't eat suji, I don't eat corn. For me, these four things are out of my system, and it should be anybody's system.
And sugar, doc, are these foods that you've just named right now bring us challenge health like cancer?
Everything,
Diabetes.
any chronic illness,
Any
from
chronic
A to Z,
illness.
anything. So I don't use these four. So I have created a flour of my own,
Wow.
and I've also created a roti which has no carbs.
Amazing. How wonderful.
Can you believe it?
We must take the
Can you
recipe.
imagine a roti and bread without any carbs?
How
you know how to make
wonderful.
it in a quickly?
Tell me.
Okay, I have 4 flours. You have almond flour, kathal flour, coconut flour, and raw banana peel flour. Put it together, put some rahang curd in it, and a little bit of Greek yogurt, and then I take some sabji, some nuts, some seeds, some raw cocoa, unflavored, put it all together, put some chutney, achars, and these things, put a generous helping of ghee, and you got a roti without carbs.
Amazing.
And using
What
this-
a fabulous
And with
recipe.
the same recipe, you take a bread maker, use the same stuff, right? Put some baking soda, put some fermented food, and lo and behold, you get bread.
Amazing. And
So I haven't eaten anything like this. Always no carb
that's
bread.
just not healthy, but also prevents
But
you
I'll
from
tell you one
illnesses.
thing. This is so good. That means there's nothing wrong with it. When I travel overseas, I take some 600 rotis.
Wow.
Yeah, so much of ghee in it, and I can put it in the freezer. It lasts for many months. And then when I go to London, my daughters, my friends, everybody's waiting for me to get the rotis.
Amazing. How wonderful. Doctor, today I want to ask you, Children have no knowledge about this. Where
Yes.
do you think knowledge like this should be imparted?
From the parents, because
From the parents.
from the parents and from older friends.
Older friends, parents at what age?
You see, children tend to sometimes not listen to parents. If they have someone who is slightly older and they look up to them, that will be the best one.
Okay.
My elder brother.
Start them young.
Have to.
Have
Otherwise,
to.
because if you don't do that, they'll start badly.
Can you give me an age time around?
Well,
About
difficult.
10?
That's difficult to say, but some age where they understand what is right and wrong.
Excellent. So basically, children should know about this because their future, their health, their issues, especially with the soil losing its nutrients, with the problems with the environment, problems with the digital noise, I would say, in today's world. Doctor, today our world looks at cholesterol in a negative way.
Yes.
Would you like to throw some light on this?
Yes. You see, cholesterol is a designated rogue, as it were.
Okay.
The moment the cholesterol level goes to 200, you get a statin straight away. So, if God made something in your body, would you throw it away? No.
Not at all.
Not at all. Now, if I tell you that 85% of the cholesterol that you see in your blood is made by your body, good morning.
Wow.
85%.
And this is in male and female?
Everyone.
Wow. I didn't know that,
Yeah,
doctor,
yeah.
because I thought cholesterol was the big bad thing.
Yeah, everybody thought that cholesterol comes from food. I always ask my patients, where does cholesterol come from? From the food. They said, of course. It doesn't. It's made in our body.
What does cholesterol do for us?
Well, it contains the structural activity of all your arteries. It also has, coating of the vessels. It protects that coating of the vessels. It's a necessary product in our body because it's made in our body. That's why. Also, they have some lipid, like a boat. They carry certain material into the places where it needs to be done. And also, when there is low cholesterol, there is an emotional instability, bad behavior, criminal behavior, and violence and things like that.
Really? I won't imagine that because we've always known
That's
to
at least
look
some
at
of
it
them.
like as an enemy.
Yeah. Then also, our whole endocrine system is controlled by cholesterol. And the liver and the gallbladder, the bile is cholesterol mainly.
Doctor, may I ask you a question? When the liver, because a lot of people have their gallbladder removed.
Yeah, they have a bad time.
They have a bad time?
Yeah, for good, forever.
Really? But
Yeah. So
it's
now you see surgeons are very happy. Quickly take it off. Take it off.
I've experienced it myself. But the gallbladder was removed like
Yeah.
a
So
drop of
so they shouldn't do that. So but we have to keep the gallbladder in.
And cholesterol actually is correlated to some of these things.
No, it's made cholesterol.
made.
Bile is made from cholesterol.
Oh.
Okay, and also the vitamin D activates the cholesterol. So D and cholesterol are friends. If the D does not come up, the cholesterol doesn't get irradiated.
So, doctor, like vitamin D.
But like you see, so many people say, okay, if the D is more than 100, that is toxic. It's not true. It's not true at all because that is D2, which is made outside the body by irradiating mushrooms. So
Right.
now they say that that is bad. D2 is bad. What we need is D3, and that's what people, whoever they are.
Sitting in the sun, the vitamin D
Absolutely.
is that
Absolutely.
something that we should all be doing?
Absolutely.
And that absorbs and then just helps the cholesterol do its job.
Yeah, and there's a time which is when you get, a lot of my golfer friends, they come and they say, we are running all day long, but our D is not bad. This is the wrong time. The right time for D is somewhere between 11:30, 12 and 1. Now that's the time when the sun is high. Nobody goes there.
Right.
So one little biohack is that when your shadow is less than half your height, that's when the day is going in. So very important biohack.
Funny enough, I think there's a very large myth about vitamin D, and most importantly, that it's only absorbed in the morning, and technically
No,
it's
that's
meant
why
to
the
be
golfers
in the
don't have
afternoon.
D in their head.
So something that we clear for our viewers is the vitamin D is not a morning feature. It's meant to be a midday feature.
an
And
odd
doctors just explained this to you. So please ensure that your vitamin D is constantly improvised because it is extremely important for us to carry the cholesterol to the right organs and function correctly.
And you see, the other interesting thing about cholesterol is that it changes winter, summer, after infection, during infection it goes up, and the infection goes, it settles down. Which means it's so connected with our metabolism, it's like an active human.
Wow, inside the body.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Immunity of our body is controlled by cholesterol. It is a marveling healing agent that all injuries, problems, all everything is there. Whenever there is a, for example, if supposing you have a problem,
Right.
the cholesterol goes up.
Okay.
People say, "Oh, something bad."
So is
So-
it emotional problem or is
No,
it
no,
a
no, no.
physical
The
problem?
people think, the big
People
pharma people, when the cholesterol goes up, they say something is bad. When the cholesterol comes down, they say it's good. It's not true. You can't say good and bad in the same thing.
Especially when the body itself is making it. So the body has its own science about how it has to function. I mean, and
Absolutely. And one last important thing
Right.
about cholesterol. See, when the artery is injured, for example, the LDL carries the cholesterol to the site where it has to be healed. That means the cholesterol is piggybacking on the LDL. Were it not for the LDL, which we call bad, the cholesterol could not reach somewhere there. Now, for example, when the cholesterol goes up and down, it changes depending on what it is. Supposing there's an ambulance going to the hospital. From the hospital to the patient, you say bad ambulance. That's bad LDL. When it comes to ulta, you say good ambulance. And it's so ridiculous that cholesterol is such an important part of the body, and the political interests and have vilified the whole thing. But the political thing now has had a very long survival. It's not going to work anymore as far as I'm concerned. So we have to be aware that cholesterol should not be blamed just because it was found in the scene of the crime, as they call it. It's like blaming the fireman for the fire.
Right. And
so 4 or 5 major sources of cholesterol. First 5: caviar, cod liver oil, fresh egg yolks, butter, cold water fish, and lard. Imagine.
Oh my God, things that we have told to
Do you know
just
one
stay
caviar?
right away.
Yeah, one caviar has got nearly 600 milligrams per 100 grams of cholesterol.
So is it good for us or bad for us?
Good. Caviar, cod liver oil, egg yolks.
Can you imagine something
how
that
many
we
eggs I
have
have?
heard that have egg white omelets? And what actually is extremely important is to have the yolk because that's good for cholesterol. Caviar, it was a rich man's food.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But at least one thing
But
we know,
eggs-
it's good for us.
Do you know how many eggs I had?
Tell me, doctor.
Minimum 6 and often 8 to 12. And I never had egg white alone. If you eat egg white alone, like as people do, egg white alone is inflammatory.
Something
it has to be combined
we
with the
need
yellow.
to all be aware of because we're serving a lot of eggs to our children. And it's important that we understand that it has to be taken with the yolk because that is good for our age, but it's also good for them and their growth and their body.
So then what causes the problem? The problem is not caused by cholesterol, as everybody says. The problem is caused by inflammation in our body.
Inflammation or what, doctor?
What is inflammation? I'll tell you. Inflammation comes from dietary sugars, refined carbs, trans fats, margarines, omega-6, allergies, sensitivities, intolerances of food.
Doctor, does it happen in children also?
Yeah, but listen to the whole thing.
Right.
Then you have the allergies, sensitivities, intolerances, the wrong gut microbiome, nutritional deficiencies, foods which are processed, packaged, preserved, or coming from some other side, toxins, low-grade infections, heavy metals, your EMF, TV, Wi-Fi. These 10 factors are the cause of inflammation, not the
food we take in, not just.
And you
the
see, now what happens is that when you are take an artery, and you get a plaque. You understand the plaque?
Yes, of course.
And the plaque comes in, and the cholesterol comes and puts a band-aid over it.
Right.
But you continue eating the wrong things. Another plaque, cholesterol, another plaque, till the artery gets blocked. So you die. You open up the post-mortem and you see cholesterol. They said this is the guy who caused it.
Oh,
Cholesterol
okay.
was only trying to help.
Right.
So whoever the people are around, they have said, oh, right, this is the time to get hold of cholesterol and catch it by its neck. Because nobody wants, the people at the helm don't want you to live longer, na?
Yes, there's a lot of research and medical research, and this is one of the latest research on cholesterol. So please be aware, cholesterol is good for us. Of course, doesn't mean that you go and eat processed food and that's going to be good for you. If you have gluten, if you have milk, if you have sugar, there's definitely a no. But cholesterol passe is important for the body. Doctor, what is LDL and HDL? And what does it do for our body?
See, first of all, LDL is called bad cholesterol, and that is called good cholesterol. Ek minute socho that is there a sense in this that in our body this is good cholesterol, this is bad cholesterol. What is this nonsense? Why are they calling LDL cholesterol? LDL is not a cholesterol. HDL is not a cholesterol. HDL and LDL are taxis which are carrying a passenger called cholesterol. Good morning. It is
Right.
not cholesterol.
Oh my God.
So
There's just a belief system that one has to
It's all, yeah.
address.
We call it LDL
worldwide.
cholesterol. What does it mean? Nothing.
Yeah, and doctors around the world also, because recently I got my blood check, and even for me, I was scared about it. The LDL HDL ratio was not as good, and I was thinking, oh my God, something
See, there
is
are
wrong.
two types of LDL, by the
Right.
way. LDL A and LDL B. LDL A is a soft little ball roaming around in the arteries without bothering. That's a good one. When the LDL gets inflamed, and I give you the list of inflammation, then it becomes the bad. So there are two types of LDL, 1 and 2, and we have to convert the 2 into the 1 by eating differently, and so that is the problem. People don't understand there are two types. One is the inflamed LDL, one is the correct LDL. So we have to convert this to that.
So, and inflammation is caused with all
those 10 things
that you've mentioned.
And HDL's job is to take the cholesterol back into for remaking and all that. So both are doing a job.
Both are doing a job, and here we are judging them. Okay, doctor, what is statin?
Statins are good and bad.
Okay.
Now, when I say good, means that statins are anti-inflammatory agents to reduce the inflammation of the artery. So they are doing a big job. So it doesn't mean that they are bad just because it's statins. So the statins, you need to take statins for X amount of time, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe 1 or 2 months, depending on the nature of your heart problem. And once the inflammation settles down, the statins must withdraw.
Wow.
Because when you continue that, you'll start getting muscle pains, you'll start getting dementia, you'll start getting all sorts of Alzheimer's.
Yes, because a lot of people talk about it, that this is the side effect of it.
Yes, it is. But it's like saying that I have 1 glass of red wine or 2 bottles of red wine. Obviously, that's not true. So statins are playing a stellar role in reducing the inflammation, and the cholesterol is actually trying to balance it and be partners with it. Right. They're not against each other.
Okay.
It is needed, and the statins also make the cholesterol to go on one side so that they're balancing the whole thing. The statins are good up to a point, but after a while, when your inflammation is gone, you've changed your whole lifestyle, please stop the statins, take them off, and then have as much cholesterol as you like.
So cholesterol, lifestyle, and knowledge, keeping in the rhythm of the circadian clock, and eating food which is as per our ancestral upbringing, keeping away from processed food is a way of life forward.
Honoring the body clock.
Honoring the body clock.
Yes. Nobody can do it in one day, but make an attempt to as close to it as possible. And if you can do the whole thing, great.
Okay. And doctor, may I ask you a question for children and women, because women being the backbone of any household and children the future of the country and the world. I want to ask you, should they be thinking all this as well? Should they be thinking no processed food? Should they be thinking circadian clock? Should they be thinking waking up in the morning, sitting in the sun? Should they be looking at good grain?
You see, this is a little difficult question to do. Now, children want to play, they want to do this, want to do that. They should be allowed to do things which are right and wrong as well. Okay. Because that's part of growing up. But at the same time, at some point of time, they should be told about this. So gradually let them understand why. Because I've seen this with my grandson. He immediately used to eat popcorn, this, that. So gradually I've turned it around, and wow, it's been such a great change.
So, but then to educate them about it is our responsibility,
of course,
whether it may just be radical or whether it may be slow and steady. So they do encourage good habits and good.
That's what happens. In fact, I've seen somebody tell me, "Oh, my child is too much and he's eating popcorn." You stupid people, you're giving popcorn to a 2-year-old child. That means शुरू से काम खराब कर दिया उनका. So their taste buds are already worked out. Yes, give them something, because life is different. You can't just become crazy about that. So the children will be children. Yes. But there should be a time when they should be taught what is right and wrong.
हिंदुस्तान में हमारी बहुत बड़ी स्ट्रेंथ है कि हमारे पास इतने सारे लोग हैं जो हमारे देश को आगे लेकर जाएंगे। हिंदुस्तान के लोग अगर ठीक रहेंगे तो देश आगे जाएगा। और इस समय अगर आप अपनी 5 एडवाइजेस देते हैं कि एक आम आदमी अपनी तबीयत का काम करते हुए भी कैसे ध्यान रख सकता है।
जी, पहली बात तो है कि सबको ना दूध की बहुत आदत पड़ती है।
अच्छा जी।
तो आज का दूध है ही खराब, क्योंकि आजकल प्लांट मिल्क मिलता है।
हाँ जी।
तो उनको इस बात की अभी अकल नहीं है।
अच्छा जी।
हालांकि पूरी रिप्लेसमेंट हो सकती है,
हाँ जी।
बट अगर अच्छा दूध हो, जैसे कि E2 ग्रास फेड दूध है, तो पीने दो उनको थोड़ी देर के लिए। बट उनको ये समझाना चाहिए कि दूध सिर्फ गाय से नहीं आता, दूध हर चीज़ प्लांट से भी आता है। तो उनको ये आदत सिखाया जाए कि प्लांट मिल्क भी एक चीज़ होती है।
सो दूध से बीमारियां भी हो सकती हैं।
बिल्कुल।
सो आपको ये अपने लिए, अपनी फैमिली के लिए समझना
हर चीज़ का,
पड़ेगा।
सॉरी, हर चीज़ का दूध है। नट दूध है, मिल्क मतलब मूंगफली का दूध है, काजू का दूध है, वॉलनट का दूध, सबका है ना। सो द दूध कैन बी मेड फ्रॉम एनीथिंग।
सो दूध तो काफ़ी चीज़ों से बन सकता है, बट अगर आप ये दूध पी रहे हैं जो पास्चराइज्ड है, जो मार्केटेड है, जो थैलियों में आता है, जो आप टोकन डाल के निकालते हैं, ये आपकी सेहत के लिए अच्छा नहीं है। इससे आपको एलर्जीज, इसके साथ आपको बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स आती हैं। डॉक्टर, दूसरा टिप?
दूसरा है एक्सरसाइज। वो किसी
एक्सरसाइज।
किस्म की एक्सरसाइज तो करी थे। जो इधर लोग हैं उनका चलना फिरना, साइकिल चलाना, तो कुछ तो उनका काम उसी से हो जाता है। बट कई आजकल लेजी हो गए हैं और कामचोर बन जाते हैं, तो वो फिर सफ़र करेंगे।
तो मेनली लॉट ऑफ पीपल, आप लोगों के पास बाइक्स हैं, तो
एग्जर्शन।
आप घर से आते हैं बाइक पे, काम पे जाते हैं बाइक पे, और फिर वहाँ पे उठ के वापस घर जाते हैं, तो ये आपकी सेहत के लिए हानिकारक है। आपका अपने लिए, अपनी ध्यान रखने के लिए आपको वॉकिंग तो ज़रूर करिए। एटलीस्ट 10,000 स्टेप्स तो आप मेंटेन करिए, बेशक आप घर में औरत हैं या आदमी हैं, बिकॉज फैमिली आपकी भी है और सेहत आपकी देश के लिए, आपकी फैमिली के लिए, आपके खुद के लिए बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है।
पर ये जो 10,000 स्टेप है ना, वो भी एक प्लान मनोवर है।
अच्छा जी।
बिकॉज अगर हम 10,000 स्टेप चलें तो चलते रहेंगे, इट बिकम्स लाइक अ मैराथन रनर।
अच्छा जी।
और मैराथन वालों को देखते हो कैसे लगते हैं कि फूक मारे मरी ना जाए।
अच्छा।
तो ये अगर हमको वो नहीं करना चाहिए। हाई इंटेंसिटी इंटरवल ट्रेनिंग आपने सुना होगा। हाँ, वो चीज़ बहुत ज़रूरी है। हम कहते हैं कि एक हाई इंटेंसिटी इंटरवल ट्रेनिंग करो और दिन में 50 बारी थोड़ा थोड़ा करके चलो।
ओके जी।
ये नहीं कि 10,000 चल। आजकल लोग कहते हैं 10,000 नहीं, मैंने तो 30,000 कर लिए। अरे 10,000 से 3,000 और काम काम कर रहे हो अपना।
तीसरी स्टेप क्या होगी डॉक्टर आपकी?
तीसरी इज टू, मतलब भगवान को थोड़ा सा हेलो करो। वो तो बड़ा ज़रूरी है।
हाँ।
और बच्चों को समझाओ। अगर समझाओगे तो आप भी ठीक हो जाओगे। तो ये बड़ा, माँ बाप को नमस्ते करो उनको
तो
कुछ।
वेस्टर्नाइज वे में मत जिए।
हाँ।
अपना हिंदुस्तानी जो हमारी परंपरा रही है, जो हमारी वैल्यू सिस्टम रहा है, जैसे हमारे एंसेस्टर्स रहे हैं, जैसे हमारे दादा परदादा, दादी परदादी वो लोग रहे हैं, वैसे हमें भी अपने आप को उस सुख से जोड़ना है और अपने परिवार को उस सुख से जोड़ना है। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सो मच। वेरी गुड।